Again, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today to learn more about living and working as a nurse in British Columbia, Canada. Whether you're beginning your journey or are already preparing for your move, we're excited to help you feel more prepared and confident as you plan your next steps. My name is Tracy, and I'm part of the nurse recruitment team here at HealthMatch BC. Within Canada, we recognize and honor the rich history, cultures, and traditions of the Indigenous people who called this land home before the arrival of settlers. We also acknowledge the harm caused by colonialism, including the residential school system and the continuing impacts of systemic discrimination. As part of our commitment to reconciliation, we are committed to listening, learning, and taking meaningful action to address these injustices. In recognition of this commitment, we begin every meeting with a territorial land acknowledgement. For myself, I am joining this webinar from Vancouver, and I respectfully acknowledge that I am on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam people. I am deeply grateful for the opportunity to live, work, and learn on these lands. Presenting with me today are Shannon, Oliveira, and Heather. And Preet is also here working behind the scenes. And we're all from the Employment Services team at HealthMatch BC. Before we get started, there are a few things to keep in mind. This webinar is designed for nurses who are actively seeking employment or have accepted a job and are planning their relocation to British Columbia in the near future. If this does not apply to you, please feel free to reach out to us via your HealthMatch BC account, and we will connect you with the appropriate webinar and a staff member to support you. Also, in case you hadn't noticed, this session is being recorded, but don't worry, you won't be on camera. Lastly, please hold your questions until the end, as we have set aside time to answer them, and we will do our best to answer as many as we can. During our webinar today, we will be talking about HealthMatch BC and how we support nurses, as well as the immigration support we offer for the BC Provincial Nominee Program, which is also known as BCP&P. We will also share a ton of useful information to help you prepare for your arrival in BC, including information on accessing essential services like banking, credit cards, driver's licenses, and healthcare, securing housing and accommodation, transportation, and childcare and education for those who have children. And finally, we will finish with a Q&A and information on how you can connect with us if you have more questions or very specific questions about your own unique circumstances. We do value your input, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts throughout the presentation. To make it easier for you to participate, we will be using a program called Slido to gather your feedback. Each time we ask a question, a QR code will appear on your screen. Scan the QR code with your phone's camera app or open your desktop browser, visit slido.com, and enter the event code you will see on your screen. We will let you know when we're going to use Slido so you have time to open it. So why don't we give it a try? Everyone pull out your phones and scan the QR code that you see there on the screen, or open your Slido and let us know, where are you joining us from today? We will take a couple of minutes for the answers to come in. So again, please just take out your phone and scan the QR code that you see there, or go to slido.com and enter the event code. So far, it looks like we have a lot of people joining us from the US, all over the US, it looks like. We have a lot of people joining us, or we do have people joining us from the UK, also the Netherlands. We have a few nurses, it looks like, that are already here in Canada. I see Alberta mentioned. I see the Philippines. Wow, we really do have an international audience today. This is fantastic. We have a lot of different time zones represented, so thank you all for some of you, this is very late at night, so thank you so much. This is fantastic. I can see we still have a few people that are typing, so we'll just give it another 30 seconds or so. Don't put your phones away. We are going to ask another question after this. Okay, this is great. It looks like predominantly United States, but as I said, also I see the UK. I see some people already here in Canada, the Philippines. This is great. Thank you all so much. If you're already typing, just keep typing. That answer will come through, but we are going to move on to the next question, which is, since you've just heard about what we will be covering in today's session, what are you most excited to learn more about today? So again, just scan the QR code that you see there on the screen or join us at slido.com and let us know what you're most interested to learn about today or most excited. Is it about accommodation? Is it about immigration? Is it childcare? Housing? Yes, housing is definitely a big one. We do discuss that. We do discuss immigration in this webinar, but we also do a separate webinar that is just about the BCP&P program. So if that is something that you are very interested in, please reach out to your consultant and they will make sure that you are invited to that webinar the next time that we do it. But you will get some information in this one. This is great. Thank you for everyone that is participating. We really do appreciate it because the information that you give to us really helps us to make sure that we are answering the questions that you have and that we are presenting information that is most impactful for you. We'll just give it a few more seconds because we do have a few people still typing. Okay, this is great. Huge participation rate. It looks like we've had about 112 people submit answers. So thank you very much. For those of you that are still typing, continue to type, but we will be able to record the answers. But we are going to move on. And I am going to pass it over to my colleague, Olivera, to chat a little bit more about who Health Match is and what we do.
Thank you, Tracy. So who is Health Match BC? Health Match BC is a free recruitment service for health professionals. We are funded by the government of British Columbia and have been working with the BC health authorities for over 25 years to help facilitate recruitment at over 200 facilities across the province. And what do we do? So Health Match here is to guide and provide support for nurses as they navigate the credentialing, registration, job search, and immigration process to live and work as a nurse in British Columbia. We provide navigational support as you go through the licensing process, financial support through bursaries on behalf of the government of BC to help offset some costs of the credentialing and registration process. Job search support. This is to help you identify the right community and job opportunity to begin your career in BC. And also immigration support through the BC Provincial Nominee Program. It should be noted that Health Match BC acts in advisory capacity only. We do not make any decisions regarding credentialing, registration, immigration, or employment. So think of us more like a compass. We do not build the path and we cannot walk the path for our candidates, but we are here to help all of you navigate along the path and guide you as, to get to the place where you want to be. And now I'm going to pass it off to Shannon.
Thanks, Olivera. So whether you're new to Canada or have been here a while, learning more about British Columbia will help you settle in and feel at home in your new community. British Columbia, often referred to as BC, is located on the west coast of Canada. It's known for its stunning natural landscapes, ranging from picturesque coastlines to majestic mountains and lush forests. BC offers a wide range of outdoor activities, including hiking, skiing, and exploring our vibrant urban and rural areas. One of the unique aspects of BC is its cultural diversity. Our province is home to people from various cultural backgrounds, contributing to a rich tapestry of traditions, languages, and cuisines. This cultural mosaic is celebrated throughout the province, fostering a welcoming and inclusive environment for all. In terms of urban centers, Vancouver, the largest city in BC, stands out as a dynamic city, renowned for its sophisticated vibe, multicultural neighborhoods, and its thriving art scene. Victoria, which is the capital of BC, is located on Vancouver Island and offers a more laid-back atmosphere with its charming blend of architecture, beautiful gardens, and scenic waterfront. It is home to BC's provincial government and parliament buildings. Beyond the cities, BC is dotted with charming towns, quaint villages, and remote wilderness areas, all waiting to be explored. In northern BC, there are a lot of small towns where you will find friendly faces and tight-knit communities. In the interior region, you'll be enchanted by the sweeping vineyards and incredible mountain ski communities. As you embark on your journey in British Columbia, take time to immerse yourself in the beauty and diversity of our province. BC welcomes you and promises unforgettable memories that will last a lifetime. Now back to Tracy for another Slido question.
Thank you so much, Shannon. Now that we've spoken a bit more about our wonderful province, we'd like to know, where would you like to relocate to? If you joined late and would like to participate in the Slido question, just scan the QR code with your phone's camera app. You can see the QR code there on the screen, or open your desktop browser and visit slido.com and enter the event code you see on the screen. I don't think I mentioned before that this is all completely confidential. We cannot see who is putting in answers or what your answers are, so this is completely confidential. And we just really appreciate everyone that is participating. So it looks like we have a lot of people that are interested in Vancouver and Vancouver Island. Few people that are still unsure. We also have a lot of people who are very specific about where they want to go. So I'm going to assume that some of you have probably already accepted jobs in these places. But it's definitely a good mix from across the province. So this is fantastic. I can see that we have a great variety of interest here in different areas of BC. Don't put your phones away. We are going to try one more Slido question before we move on. So before we jump into talking about relocating to BC, let's ask, what are you most anxious about when you think about relocating to BC? Is it immigration, finances, childcare, transportation? What are you most anxious about when you think about relocating to BC? We fully appreciate that all of these things can cause anxiety, but hopefully the information we're going to share with you today will help calm these concerns. So far, it looks like a pretty even split between housing and finances, with immigration coming up a pretty close there. But childcare, schools, and transportation are all concerns. So thank you all very much. I am now going to hand it back to Olivera to tell you more about immigration supports that might be available to help you.
Thank you, Tracy. So HealthMatch BC supports the BC Provincial Nominee Program, which is also known as BC PMP. Under BCPMP, applicants may be eligible for either the skills immigration or express entry pathway. In order to apply for BCPMP, express entry, or skills immigration, you must first have a permanent full-time employment offer from a BC health employer. And you must have provisional or full registration with the BC College of Nurses and Midwives, who are also known, and we refer them as BCCNM. So once these requirements are in place, and you are ready to initiate the process for applying for BCPMP, our immigration team, in collaboration with your new employer, will provide guidance to help you apply for and obtain work permit and/or permanent residency in Canada. So to start the BCPMP process, we recommend you reach out to your health authority recruiter to discuss BCPMP support and the documents you will need to start the application process. Once our immigration team receives the BCPMP documents from you or your employer, they will provide you with the information on how to get started. Our team will continue to support you and your employer with the information and guidance as you work through the BCPMP process and submit your work permit and permanent residency application. I'll now pass it to Shannon to talk to you about setting up a bank account once you're living in BC. So if you already have a Canadian bank account, consider it as a refresher.
Awesome, thank you. Once you have arrived in British Columbia, you will want to open a bank account. To set up a bank account, you will need to provide 2 identification documents, one that indicates your name and address, and the other that indicates your name and date of birth. When visiting your chosen bank, please keep in mind you will be required to provide original IDs. Photocopies of IDs will not be accepted. The following documents are acceptable forms of identification when setting up your bank account: a foreign passport, identification issued by the Government of Canada or the government of a Canadian province, like a driver's license, a recent Canadian public utility bill, or a recent bank account or credit card statement. In addition to the identification documents mentioned above, you will also need your social insurance number, also referred to as an SIN or SIN, for your bank account application. Make sure you bring either your SIN card or your work permit and temporary SIN to the bank with you. For individuals brand new to Canada, a tip is to use your passport and a utility or phone bill as your 2 pieces of identification. Your phone bill can be set up as soon as you arrive. There are several major banking institutions in Canada and in BC, with the 6 largest being shown here. In addition to major banks, small credit unions also offer alternative banking options. When choosing a bank, you may want to consider the following: the types of accounts that you are going to need, such as general savings, everyday transactions, or saving for retirement, also referred to as RRSPs. Charges and fees that the bank may charge you. Interest you will earn from the bank on the money in your accounts, and deposit insurance and other benefits to bank with that institution. Before signing up for an account, make sure you understand all the terms and conditions of the account, including usage, charges, and fees. Ask questions about anything you don't understand, and keep a copy of your account agreement for your records. We strongly suggest researching the different banking institutions in British Columbia, whether by visiting their website online or visiting the bank in person to discuss your options with a customer service agent. Once you have set up your bank account, you also might consider applying for a Canadian credit card. Several types of credit cards are available from banks, credit unions, and other institutions. You do not need to have a bank account to apply for a credit card. However, you typically require a certain level of income and a satisfactory credit score to qualify. Some credit cards may be secured, meaning you will need to provide a cash deposit upfront to use the credit card. Each banking institution will offer different credit card options. And while you research credit cards with various banks, we recommend keeping in mind the different factors to consider with each credit card option, such as interest rates, cash advances, annual fees, and rewards, such as cashback options or travel points. It is important to consider these factors when choosing the credit card that will best suit you and your family's needs in Canada. Now that you have some information on banking and credit cards to begin your research, I'm going to hand it back to Olivera, who is going to talk about housing options in British Columbia.
Thank you, Shannon. I had a hard time finding a mute button for some reason. So in British Columbia is one of the most attractive places to live in Canada, with a very high quality of living. Because of this, housing and cost of living are important considerations for individuals who are moving to BC. Housing can be costly, so it's important to plan ahead and begin your search early. Housing costs are typically higher in the more southern parts of BC and lower in the more northern parts of BC. They're also higher in more urban areas and lower in the more rural areas. So urban areas typically have a higher concentration of condos, townhomes, duplexes, whereas less urban areas tend to have a greater number of single-family residences. Urban areas will have more rental availability, while rural areas may mean more options for purchasing a home. In BC, about 67% of households own their homes, and about 33% of households rent. The average home price in BC is 950,000 Canadian dollars, although this is heavily skewed towards the Greater Vancouver Regional District, where 50%, I believe, of BC population lives. So the average home price in northern BC is just under 400,000 Canadian dollars. The best way to find rentals is to access rental listing boards or websites and community rental groups on Facebook. Some of the most used websites are Craigslist, rentals.ca, Facebook Marketplace, and Kijiji. BC Housing also has fantastic resources for market rate rentals, subsidized housing, and co-ops that can suit families with tighter budgets. Some things you need to obviously, when looking at rentals, like you need to kind of pay attention to are like a budget, make sure you have a realistic budget and that you have an idea of what communities or areas you can afford. Make sure to factor in utilities. That's something that I would say people don't think about often as much as we should, but yeah, this is something that definitely, has to be thought of and spoke with because, it may or may not be included in the rent. References. So most landlords will request previous rental references or personal references, and these typically cannot be family members. Address history, a timeline of locations you have lived in the recent past could be requested by the landlord. Then employment information. So bring contract details, at least 2 or 3 pay periods worth of or pay stubs, and any other information tied to your employment. If you have not yet received payment, please be prepared to provide banking statements from your account to verify your income. Pet resume or references. So for those people who own pets, renting can be more challenging. So be ready to provide references for your pet to help reassure the landlord. And please note that not all housing will allow pets. So make sure you always ask. When purchasing your first home in Canada, it is best to use a local real estate agent. So MLS listings, realtor.ca, and Zillow. Those are some great websites to review real estates and compare prices across different regions of British Columbia. They also provide you access to real estate agents in the areas you are interested in. Before starting a process of purchasing your home, make sure to get pre-approval for mortgage from your bank. This will give you a better idea of your budget for a home. All major banks will offer mortgages, and there are also private brokers that can provide mortgages. It is worth comparing rates from different places to find the best deal. I think that's one of the very important things, and it helped my family out as well, right, to compare those kind of rates. So I will now pass it over to Shannon to speak a bit about the essential steps and requirements for getting your driver's license. Very important.
Awesome. Thanks. When you move to British Columbia, you have a grace period of 90 days to switch your valid license to a BC driver's license. There are two different pathways to obtain a driver's license in British Columbia: a reciprocal license exchange or a non-reciprocal license exchange. Check to see if you are relocating from one of the eligible countries that have a reciprocal agreement in place. If so, you can exchange your license through this agreement. You will be able to exchange your license through the reciprocal program as long as you have 2 years of driving experience and a full license from the eligible country. A learner's permit will not qualify. If you are not eligible for the reciprocal program, you will need to go through the non-reciprocal license exchange process and will have to prepare to pass the knowledge test. You can prepare for the knowledge test by studying the Learn to Drive Smart Guide and taking a practical or practice knowledge test online. Now that we've covered how to acquire your BC license, the next step in your driving journey would be to think about car insurance. In British Columbia, auto insurance is primarily managed by the Insurance Corporation of British Columbia, who is also known as ICBC, a government-run entity. While private insurance options are available, they are limited. Basic insurance coverage provided by ICBC includes third-party liability, accident benefits, and underinsured motorist protection. Optional coverage can be purchased from private insurance companies that can include collision and comprehensive. ICBC premiums refer to the cost of your auto insurance coverage from ICBC. These premiums are determined based on several factors, including the type of car you drive, the geographic location where you register your car, your driving record, years of driving experience, and the number of at-fault accidents you have had. Private insurers often offer more competitive rates when compared to ICBC and may provide lower deductible options, giving you more flexibility in choosing deductible amounts. Car insurance can be purchased at most local neighborhood insurance agencies. If owning a car isn't part of your plan immediately after arriving in BC, you'll find various modes of transportation available throughout the province. The two main operators of public transit in BC are BC Transit and TransLink. BC Transit operates public transportation on Vancouver Island, northern BC, and the interior, and in some parts of the Fraser Valley, transporting more than 57 million customers annually across communities, ranging from small towns to large urban centers. For those interested in learning more about BC Transit systems and services, you can visit their official website at www.bctransit.com. Now, TransLink serves Metro Vancouver and provides transportation services including buses, SkyTrain, and the C-Bus. To use those means of transportation, you will need to have a Compass card or a ticket. For more information about TransLink and its services, please visit their website at www.translink.ca. In addition to traditional bus services, there are several apps and resources available to help you navigate BC's transportation network, such as the Transit, Subway, and Bus Times app, which provides real-time transit information for buses, SkyTrain, and the C-Bus. Another essential app is Google Maps, which provides transit directions and schedules. Moving beyond urban centers, BC Bus North provides long-haul coach services connecting many northern communities. This service operates on a fixed route and schedule, offering convenient connection across the province. All major cities offer taxis or rideshare services. While these can be a convenient mode of transportation, they may come at a higher cost compared to other options. For those who are traveling between the mainland and the various islands, BC Ferries is a vital transportation link, and you can check their sailing schedule and current conditions on their website at www.bcferries.ca. Now I'm going to hand it back to Olivera to talk about about BC's medical service plan.
Thank you, Shannon. So, public health insurance in British Columbia is provided through Medical Services Plan, also referred to as MSP, which covers the cost of medically necessary insured doctor services. This includes services provided by physicians, surgeons, and dental or oral surgery performed in a hospital. It is essential to apply for MSP immediately after arriving in BC to allow time for your application to be processed. Once you've applied, you'll receive your personal health number. It is important to note that there is a waiting period for MSP coverage, and you may not be eligible for MSP for up to 3 months after your arrival. So you will need to ensure you have coverage for medical expenses during the first 3 months of living in Canada, while waiting for your MSP coverage to start to ensure that you are protected during this waiting period. For individuals relocating to BC from another province, your current province should provide you coverage during this time, but make sure to double check beforehand. Applying for MSP coverage is a crucial step in accessing essential health services in BC. By understanding the application process and timelines, you can ensure seamless access to medical care as you settle into your new life in BC. In addition to the services covered by MSP, nurses working in BC public healthcare system also have access to extended healthcare benefits, which cover some of the medical costs not covered through MSP. And this coverage includes things like extended health, dental care, vision care, and prescription coverage. Now, Shannon is going to talk to you about childcare resources in BC.
Thanks, Olivera. The Ministry of Education and Childcare provide funding to childcare resources and referral centers, or CCRRs, which work in partnership with the government to improve accessibility, affordability, and quality of childcare in BC communities. CCRRs help connect families with childcare services they need, including referrals to childcare providers and community services, access to quality resources and lending libraries, workshops, and drop-in programs. They also provide consultation, support, and parenting information. The CCRR site provides information on services by area of the province and subsidies available. We highly recommend this site as a first step in researching and obtaining childcare in BC. Please note, there are often wait lists, particularly for government subsidized programs, so it is important to apply early. Now let's talk about the education system in British Columbia. In BC, there are over 1,500 public schools and 365 independent and private schools. Public schools are free to all BC residents, for all BC residents to attend. Children usually start kindergarten at the age of 5 and graduate after grade 12 around the age of 17 or 18. BC has 60 school districts organized geographically. Each district operates independently and has significant autonomy in its operations, including how it structures schools, offers programs, and reports on student learning. However, they are all governed by the Ministry of Education and Childcare. Where you live will determine which school district you are in. Visit the local school district's website and follow the registration information to enroll your child online. Depending on the school district, many programs are available. Canada has 2 official languages, English and French. French immersion schools offer early French immersion from kindergarten to grade 12 and late French immersion from grades 6 to 12. All schools have programs to support students with specific behavior or social needs, such as dyslexia, ADHD, or autism. Now over to Tracy for another Slido question.
Thank you so much, Shannon. I know we've given you a lot of information today, and we're interested in knowing what information did you find the most useful? Is it the driver's license and insurance, the banking, immigration, housing, public transportation, childcare? What did you find to be the most interesting information? Again, if you joined us late, you can scan the QR code that you see there on the screen with the camera app on your phone, or use your desktop to go to slido.com and enter the code that you see there. We really do appreciate everyone that's participating, because this information really helps us to make sure that we are giving you the information that you need and helps us to plan for future webinars. We still have a few people answering because I still see the numbers moving around. Looks like driver's license and insurance was the clear winner in this one. So thank you again to everyone that has participated. I am now going to ask Olivera to talk to you about some of the financial supports that might be available to you. Ollie, I think you're on mute.
Oh, yeah. It's apparently I'm struggling with the mute button today. Thank you, Tracy. All employers will offer some form of relocation services to candidates relocating internationally or from outside in the province. Relocation services may include things like a needs assessment and virtual meeting to gather information about you and your family, your lifestyle, budget, and accommodation requirements. Pre-departure services, which may include useful information such as moving checklists and details on temporary medical coverage. So this may also include support for booking temporary accommodation for your arrival in British Columbia. Arrival services, which may include an orientation, long-term housing search, transportation, information on facility parking, and information on schools and childcare. They can also support with setting up a bank account, the provincial government medical services plan, or as we talked about at MSB, and information on applying for social insurance number. In addition to general relocation supports, many of our public health employers will offer financial relocation support and may have other incentives available. Financial supports, of course, can vary based on several factors, including distance traveled, role type, employer, and even region of relocation. You can inquire directly with your new employer about available financial support to determine what they may be willing to offer. And now over to Tracy to our last Slido question.
Thank you so much, Olivera. Before heading into our Q&A, we do want to ask one last Slido question. If you could let us know, what was your favorite part of today's webinar? Again, just scan the QR code that you see there with your phone's camera app, or use your browser to go to slido.com and enter the event code that you see there. And please let us know, what was your favorite part of today's webinar? We have people that enjoyed the interactive component. Thank you so much. We really enjoy that part too. Also, a lot of people that enjoyed the information about housing and driver's license, healthcare information. This is fantastic. Thank you again to everyone that is participating. We really do appreciate it. And we've had great participation today, so thank you so much. We will give it a minute or so because I can see we still have a lot of people typing. Yes, we did provide you with a lot of information. So I hope you took notes. If not, you are also welcome to reach out to your consultant through your Health Match BC account, and they can answer any questions that you might have. For those of you that are typing, please continue to do so because we will still be able to record your answers, but we are going to move on. I know that we have shared a lot of information today, and it may feel overwhelming, but that is why we have consultants here to help you. And I encourage you to reach out to your consultant through your Health Match BC account. We're now going to address the questions that were submitted when you registered for this webinar. You are also welcome to use the Q&A box that you see down at the bottom of your screen to ask any additional questions you may have, and we will do our best to answer as many questions as possible. So of the questions that were submitted, Olivera, I'm going to ask you the first couple of questions if you don't mind. Someone has asked, is there an age limit for relocating to BC? And this is a two-parter. Are there any things to consider for older nurses?
I found the mute button, so that's great. But yeah, this is a great question. There's no official age limit for relocating to BC or working as a nurse here. What matters the most, and I cannot emphasize this enough, is meeting the licensing, immigration, and employment requirements. So if you've been away from, for example, bedside care, BCCNM may ask for a proof of recent practice or some additional kind of like requirements. When it comes to immigration pathways like BCPMP, is usually open to all ages. So overall, your focus should be on maintaining current practice hours and being ready for any other kind of requirements that are with, licensing, immigration, and yeah, those two are like the most important things. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. I have one more question for you. Someone has asked, when will they be eligible for health insurance in BC?
So in BC, your provincial healthcare, right, coverage MSP usually starts after a waiting period of up to like 3 months. The date you arrive, this is, kind of like how long it takes application to kind of like be processed. So be sure to apply as soon as you arrive and have some sort of a private insurance or any other kind of insurance to cover you during that waiting period time. Yeah.
Thank you. Shannon, I have a question for you. We've
Yeah.
had someone ask if they can, oh, this is a loaded one. Can they bring their spouse, their family, and or their pets when they relocate?
I have a sassy answer to that. It's a personal choice, I guess. But yes, with immigration, yes, of course, you can bring your spouse, your family, your pets. The caveat to that is definitely research which immigration pathway, if you're coming through immigration or require immigration, what that pathway looks like and what paperwork needs to be completed for not only you, but your family members as well. Spouses is usually attached to the paperwork. Children, so dependents, I believe it's under the age of 21, are able to come along with you. Other family members, such as, grandparents and things like that, you will need to connect directly with IRCC, so Immigration Canada, about what that might look like. Through some of the immigration pathways now, you might need to ask for, uh, an exception to have them attached to your immigration paperwork. In terms of pets, of course, those can come as well, but please make sure, again, check the immigration website to ensure if there are any, vet certifications that are required from the country you are leaving to enter Canada, as sometimes you do need to provide proof of vaccinations and things like that to clear a Canadian border. So yeah, all that information is available on the Immigration Canada website, so feel free to visit that. Definitely do your research. So yes, that was a very long-winded answer to say, yes, you can bring your family, spouse, children, and pets with you to Canada, of course.
Thank you, Shannon. Just to reiterate, for family, they can bring their spouse, they can bring their dependent children, and for parents, grandparents, siblings, they may have to look at other immigration options.
100%. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Olivera, I have a question for you. Someone wants to know if they have to be fully licensed as a nurse to get a job offer.
Okay, so this is a little bit of like a tricky question. I always recommend to talk with your recruitment consultant based on like just in the situation you are kind of in. But generally, you don't always need to be fully licensed before receiving a job offer. Some health authorities will give conditional offers while you're still in the licensing process. Um, but you kind of must hold a BCCNM license or registration before you can actually start working as a nurse in BC, because it's not legal to work without the BCCNM license, right? You can't start. However, that a lot depends, right, on the employer, as I would say. And typically employers are usually the one, offering, doing the job offer and stuff like that. So my suggestion is to speak with your recruitment consultant and always, with the recruiter from on the employment side as well. So they will be able to guide you more on that question as well.
Thank you. Shannon, I have a question for you. This might be a tricky one too. What are the financial supports that are available? There's a lot.
There's there are a lot. I won't go into detail about all of them because I will use up the last 10 minutes of this webinar going through all of them. So the one that is most prominent and that we here at Health Match BC support is the IEN bursary. So if you are an IEN, so an internationally educated nurse, coming to British Columbia, you are eligible to get some of those costs reimbursed to you that you had to pay in order to get your license in British Columbia. So definitely reach out to your Health Match BC consultant about how to start that process for yourself and how to get in touch with our bursary team and get that ball rolling. Please note there is a return of service attached to that. So you will have a return of service with the government of British Columbia. In terms of other financial supports, there are a variety of different programs throughout the province, lending, micro lending, things like that. Again, please get in touch with your Health Match BC consultant. We can provide you more detail on that and provide you some links to help you with that research. Another thing that we also suggest, there are many incentives available from the different health authorities. So don't be shy about asking those employers about their incentive programs or about their relocation incentive programs. They're called a variety of things by different health authorities. So definitely don't be shy about asking that question. They may or may not be available. but we always encourage you to ask. So those are some of the high-level financial supports. If you want more detailed information, please feel free to reach out, like I said, to your Health Match BC consultant to get a bit more of a detailed list on that.
Thank you. Olivera, I have a immigration question for you. Someone would like to know what types of jobs qualify for the BC Provincial Nominee Program, and can a part-time job qualify?
Yes, this is a very frequent question among all of my lovely nurses that I speak to on a daily basis as well. So for the BC Provincial Nominee Program, you normally need a permanent full-time position, at least 0.85 FTE, with an eligible BC employer for nurses. That usually means a health authority or another publicly funded health employer. Part-time or casual jobs do not qualify for BCPMP. So that's something, kind of like to keep in mind when speaking with your recruitment consultant from Health Match and also employer, of course.
Thank you. Shannon, I have a couple of questions for you. This one is also immigration related. Can you, so I think they mean Health Match, help someone get a nomination for permanent residency?
Ooh, us here at Health Match, we can support you along with your employer. We here at Health Match will not be your employer, so we cannot fill out any forms in order to support that application for permanent residency. Now, your employer can, and typically your employer will kind of tap Health Match on the shoulder, as we have immigration support team in-house that will help you and guide you in what paperwork you need to fill out and where to submit it, and help support you through that process. So here personally, no, we cannot. But our team here at Health Match BC can help support you and your employer through that application for permanent residency.
Okay, one more question for you, Shannon. Do you, Health Match, or the health authorities cover the cost of my rent?
I wish we could, but no. We here at Health Match cannot. And the health authorities will not, to my understanding, cover your rent forever. Some of their relocation incentive programs may be able to support in a couple months of rent to get you kind of on your feet when you arrive in British Columbia. Again, that will be determined by the health authority and the employer. It will be determined by what their kind of like relocation package looks like. Is that built in? Will they cover, 1 month's rent? Things like that. So definitely, like I said before, something to ask the health authority if you are getting a relocation package from them or a relocation incentive. Can that money be used towards, a couple months or a month's worth of rent? But ongoing, no, no, there will be no coverage of rent.
Thank you so much. Olivera, I have a question for you around bursaries. Is there any financial support or scholarships available for licensing or application fees?
So, and I can talk about like from our part, like from Health Match BC. So through Health Match BC, internationally educated nurses can receive financial support. We have fee waivers and bursaries to cover credential assessment, English testing, skills evaluation, and educational upgrading. And we also have, on top of that, for the IN support, we also have for nurses who are returning to practice. So this helps former non-practicing nurses to return to practice in British Columbia. And they are covering competency assessment, educational upgrading, and reinstatement fees. So some of the rules and eligibility definitely are applicable and need to be, kind of spoken with our bursaries team. So, but another thing that I want to mention and highlight it is that we really do have great information on financing on the bursaries on Health Match BC website. So for those, sorry, for nursing jobs, which I will put it in there if anyone needs it. And then there's like a huge and detailed information on it and of how you can apply to those bursaries. So I highly recommend to kind of visit that.
Thank you. Shannon, I have a couple of questions for you. The first one you sort of already answered, which is, are there any incentives available to me?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, maybe I jumped the gun. Yes, there are relocation incentives there are incentives through the different health authorities. What they look like might not be the same from every health employer. This could be a sign-on bonus. This could be a relocation package. It could be both. There are a number of incentives available. So again, I always tell everyone, all my candidates, ask, see what's available. It could be a sign-on bonus. It could be a relocation support, different things like that. So yes, there are a number of incentives available. It just depends. Does the position that you are going to fill, does it qualify for those? So there's also that as well. Because there are some check boxes that need to be ticked in order to sometimes receive those incentives. So, but again, it never hurts to ask. The worst answer you're going to get is no, there's nothing available for you. So we encourage all candidates to always ask health employers what, if anything, is currently available to them in terms of incentives.
Great. One more question for you. Someone wants to know who can help them find employment in BC.
Well, you are in the right place. We can. So we here at Health Match, that is one of the many services that we provide. So Olivera and myself, we are on the employment kind of side of the house, and we will help connect you with health employers and facilitate those conversations to start and get that recruitment process going for you. So connecting you through to the BC Health employers of your choice. We like to kind of, get your preferences ahead of time. So we're sending you to the health employers that we think are going to be the best fit for you. And we work very closely with you through the whole job search process. So yeah, if that's your question, you're in the right spot. You've met the right people. So be sure to message us through your Health Match BC account so that if you haven't already been referred out, we are more than happy to get that ball rolling for you.
Why, thank you, Shannon. And thank you, Olivera and Heather, who's in the background answering questions away, and Preet as well. That seems like a very good spot to end because we are at time. So, on behalf of our entire team, I would like to thank you all for taking the time to learn more about our program and the supports available for internationally educated nurses who wish to practice in BC. It has been great speaking with you and answering your questions. If you have any further questions, please reach out to us through your Health Match BC account, and we would be happy to help you. Thank you for listening to us, and we look forward to working with you as you transition to your new life in BC. Have a great day or evening wherever you may be joining us from, and we do look forward to speaking with you. Bye.